once again. This is the Jessica Brima channel. I'm delighted that you stopped by. Thank you so much for joining me on the Jessica Brima channel. Once again, Nigerians have been deceived. Nigerians have been deceived by their leaders. They were assured that there would be a fair and fair election. Days to the election, Nigerians were starved to death, denied their money in the banks. They could not have access to their money in the banks. They could not eat. They could not buy and sell again because the president of Nigeria promised them that's the only way to guarantee a free and fair election. Yes, but he knew what he was doing because the money they used to buy voters, buy the votes of people is peanuts compared to the amount of money they used to bribe the Inec officials. And those kind of exchanges are not done physically. They are done through electronic transmission of funds. He knows it. He knew the truth. And he knew that it would be possible for anybody with billions in the bank to transfer billions to the INEC officials because they decide what happens in elections. Why did the government of Nigeria spend billions of naira on beavers? They told us that transmitting elections electronically would be the thing. They said there will be no manual transmission of elections. That's what they told us. We believe them. Once again, it shows that we cannot have free and fair elections in Nigeria again. That's what it means. How can any leader sit down and watch this travesty of justice? First, they were the thugs, beating people, wounding people. People were bleeding at polling stations because thugs were sent to beat them up because they knew they were not going to vote for the APC candidate. Somebody was on video threatening, saying, let me see who will come here and vote for LP. Well, let me see who will come here and vote for Labour Party. The security agencies were standing there, policemen and soldiers were standing there and seeing this man boasting and threatening that nobody will come to this polling booth to vote for LP. Nigerians endured all that. Nigerians stood in the rain and insisted that they want to vote for Labour Party, and they voted for Labour Party. And what happened? The BVACs could not work. The machine that we spent billions on for electronic transmission of the results were deliberately switched off at the INEC headquarters. You hear people lamenting, it's 9 p.m., it's 10 p.m., it's 11 p.m. I'm still waiting to transmit my results. But the beavers were not working. Rather than the president of Nigeria step in and say, no, this is not what I meant by free and fair elections for Nigerians, he kept quiet. He kept quiet. So he could not instruct the INEC chairman. He could not instruct and say, make sure that you don't compromise. Make sure you don't take sides. Rather, it was easier for him to starve Nigerians, to impoverish Nigerians, to deny Nigerians their money in the banks in the name of free and fair elections. And then there was the Naira redesign. They just bought paint on Naira notes and spent billions of Naira redesigning the Naira. What do we have? The foreign observers said this is a crude way of rigging. They called the rigging we did crude rigging. They said this is crude rigging. Most of the European observers just left Nigeria. People that spent money to come and observe our elections, they left because they're shocked at the crude rigging. The fact that people are allowed to beat up people because they refuse to vote for their candidate, beat them up with blood coming out everywhere. The fact that the security agencies were watching them burning ballot papers in several polling units in Lagos because they knew the people were not ready to vote for the APC candidate who comes from Lagos State. They were burning the ballot papers when they saw that, oh, this polling unit, they all voted Labour Party. They burned the whole ballot papers. Everything is on video in the presence of security agencies, soldiers, and policemen. They were watching. So why did they deploy soldiers and policemen to Lagos to just watch and make sure that the miscarriage of justice takes place? Is that the reason? They said this is crude rigging. Those ones are just minor chemistries that, they could not change the results in Lagos. People still voted Labour Party. And then what happened? The INEC officials went to their website and allotted so much figures to Lagos State, the figures that they just manufactured. A young man posted a video. He said He went to the Inec website on the 27th of February, that's 2 days after the election, and he went to presidential election. He said when you go on the website, you click on presidential election. He clicked on presidential election. And you know what happened? He went to Lagos State. He said, let me see how they came by these results. Why? What happened? He just went polling unit by polling unit. The first polling unit he went to is the one at Sanusi Fafunwa in Victoria Island. He said in that polling unit, they had areas they call Nasarawa Lafia. They allotted numbers to Nasarawa Lafia in that Sanusi Fafunwa. He went to another place at Deola Hopewell. He saw Nasarawa Lafia. They allotted numbers to Nasarawa Lafia. He went to another one at Akina Deshola polling unit. He saw Nasarawa Lafia. So results from Lagos State were bearing Nasarawa Lafia as polling units that voted for APC. And he saw how they were able to amass thousands and thousands of votes. There's no place in Victoria Island called Nasarawa Lafia. Not in Adola Hopewell. Not in Akina Deshola. No way. Called Nasarawa. That's how they manufactured these votes and put it on Inec portal. This thing is on Inec website. My brothers and sisters, as I'm speaking to you, you can go to Inec website. Go to their website and see presidential election and go to Lagos State and see what happened. As if that's not enough, on their on the Inec results sheet, the final result they announced, do you know that Bauchi State, that P2B cleared, the Labour Party won it, hands down, they won it by landslide, numbers. They changed the results, and Nasarawa State, they gave APC 146,977. PDP 319,123, and they allotted 26,000 to P2B. That's not even the most interesting part of the story. Do you know the most interesting part? Gombe State result bears exactly these same figures I reeled out now. APC scored 146,977. PDP scored 319,123, and the Labour Party scored 26,000. The exact result of Bauchi State is what they allotted to Gombe State. The moment the PDP people saw that APC had outreached them, of course they swarmed to action. Suddenly, all the states in northern Nigeria that P2B cleared, he won in Kano State. All the states in northern Nigeria, now they have shifted to PDP. PDP are the ones winning those states in northern Nigeria. Now, PDP decided that, oh, really? So rigging is possible. We didn't bother because we thought everything would be transmitted through beavers. Now that we've seen what APC is doing, let's do ours. River State was cleared by Labour Party. The young man that was in one of the polling units, he posted something on video. He said, I have my documents. Everything was won by Labour Party. Now, the governor of River State has instructed us to bring all our results to the Inec office in River State. So they did not allow us to transmit through beavers. The beavers was not working. So the moment they all submitted their results to the main Inec headquarters in River State, they were able to change it to APC and not the Labour Party that actually won the election. So Obasanjo has come out and given a speech that people should not burn down the nation, and that he's asking the federal government to intervene now to cancel this election and redo it because the entire process is rigged. The main issue here is this. Nigerian law stipulates that all results must be transmitted electronically by beavers. That's why we spend billions buying beavers. But why should they announce results that they collected manually and wrote with their hands and changed everything? That's illegal. That's wrong. But like in Nigeria, the lawmakers are the lawbreakers. They make laws for the poor people to, laws that they are not ready to obey, but they want the poor people to be the ones to obey the law. So they manipulate it. You just have a case of criminals in power in Nigeria. Criminals in power. And at this stage, I wonder if Nigeria can ever have a free and fair election again. Benue State was cleared by Labour Party. All the states of the Federation were all cleared by Labour Party. The youth came out. The youth kept to their word. And they all say, we want a change. They voted for Labour Party. But the INEC chairman is not interested in listening to anything at all. All he knows is he wants to APC to win. He doesn't care that the process is rigged. He's seen the videos of all the rigging that took place. He has seen the discrepancies in, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, sometimes you want to have somebody like Dino Melaya in your family to really stand out and fight. Dino Melaya says something very instructive. He said to the Inec chairman, you are announcing results on a paper that you have. We need you to project to the screen the polling unit results that came from the states one by one. That's how it's done. So that as you're reading your final results on paper, we can confirm from what you projected on the screen, the polling unit result. We can now see that, yes, what you're reading is the right thing. He said, but you're not projecting the polling unit results for us. Let's see the tabulated polling unit result, because every polling unit has tabulated results. Let's see them projected on the screen so that we know what you're saying is the right thing. He doesn't have he's refused to use the correct polling unit results. He has rewritten everything with his people, and they want APC, and then PDP has joined in the rigging now. That's what they want. They don't want Labour Party. You know, I saw the announcement by Labour Party that all the people that worked in the polling units must bring all their papers, because you have a copy of your own result. Bring all of them to the Labour Party offices. They gave out numbers where you call the places you go to and submit it, because that's what they will use to go to the courts. But when it comes to court in Nigeria, I'm not keen. I'm not keen on court matters in Nigeria, because I know that the judges are so corrupt. Those judges, their level of corruption is out of this world. It's beyond description. It's beyond comprehension. Those old men judges. Is it at the Supreme Court? They just give ruling to the highest bidder. They give ruling to the highest bidder. So who will bail Nigeria out at this point? Who will bail us out? Who will bail Nigeria out? It's shocking. It's shocking that the whole world is watching this crude rigging taking place. And the Inec chairman is not resigning. He's not ashamed of what is going on. That man should resign now and apologize to Nigerians and cancel the results. But they won't do that. They've already made up their mind. And I watched a video of a man threatening Igbos in Lagos that they must leave Lagos now or be destroyed or be killed. But it wasn't only Igbos that voted for Labour Party. No. It wasn't only Igbos in Lagos. Yorubas voted for Labour Party. That's why that comedian Macaroni, he said he's getting death threats because he uploaded the result of Ikoyi ward where he voted. The result, 800 and something voted for a Labour Party. He said, yes, we have delivered on what we promised, that we want a change in this country. Now he's being threatened. He's receiving death threats. Which leader goes about brazen thugs that kill, that maim, that threaten, that destroy, that burn voters' cards? Is that man worthy to be a leader? Are we going to get a Zimbabwe in Nigeria now? Is that what is going on? As Buhari is stepping down, is a worst Buhari coming to now destroy Nigerians? The Bible says, if the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? A lot of Christians are keeping quiet, saying to me, oh, Evangelist Jess, why are you even talking about this politics? You have to speak up against evil. When you read your Bible, you see the prophets of old all spoke against evil leaders and evil rulership. They did. Because righteousness cannot prevail in a place where criminality is the norm. You can't prevail as a righteous person. You can't do things in a righteous way. You must give bribe for you to have your right in Nigeria. You must compromise. Women are sleeping around out of desperation, not because it's something they've chosen. How can a Christian lady live that Christian life when you don't have a choice but to give your body for what is due to you? To give your body to be able to pay your school fees, to give your body to be able to get a job. And that is a system. The system is corruption. We need to speak up against it. Otherwise, it will swallow up everybody. I'm glad that Paul Enenche is speaking out, and they're threatening him with arrest. They're threatening everybody speaking out with arrest. But we need to speak against evil. You need to speak up. That's part of living a holy life. That's part of preaching the gospel. Christians, you can't afford to keep quiet. Those that have a voice should speak up now. People in diaspora that have a voice, let's speak up against this wickedness that's embraced Nigerians now. We must shake off this wickedness. We must shake off this crude rigging. We must not accept it. It's completely unacceptable Completely unacceptable. Those saying that Obasanjo has no moral right to speak because he masterminded the rigging, they are the ones that must continue the rigging. So if Obasanjo rigged and you felt it was bad, why must you continue the rigging? Aren't you supposed to say, no, let's do things the right way now? It's a pity what's going on in Nigeria. It's such a pity. Well, I know that if the youth insist that the right thing must be done, the right thing would be done. If the leaders who should speak up insist. Yesterday, the PDP people were saying that, oh, they are robbing Labour Party, that APC must not rob Labour Party. But suddenly, PDP has joined the rigging, what do you call it now? The rigging train. Yes, they've joined it now. The places in the north that Labour Party won, PDP have now rewritten it. They're like, yeah. I have always said it, that the people determining elections in Nigeria are Inec people. It's Inec people that determine elections in Nigeria. I watched in Abia State how the people rejected PDP over and over again. After the people of Abia State had finished voting, the Inec returning officer will change it and favor the PDP that nobody wants. Abia people cried for almost 16 or more than 16 years. We don't want PDP. Right now, they brought a proper, God-fearing Inec returning officer that supervised the last election, this 2023 presidential election in Abia State. And guess what? Labour Party cleared one Abia State landslide. Senatorial seats, Labour Party got them. House of Reps, Labour Party got it, to the extent that the rigging experts, the master of rigging, the son of the former one-time governor, Orji's son, Chinedu Orji, lost his election. You've never heard in Abia State that the Orjis lose. They don't lose. The Orjis of Abia State are masters at rigging. But this time around, they met an Inec rep, returning officer in Abia State, that said, no, not under my watch. And they could not rig it. And the Labour Party cleared Abia State landslide. And that governor's son lost his election. Chinedu Orji lost. It's never been heard in Abia State that an Orji will lose an election. All the Orjis in Abia State have been experts at rigging because they loot the people's treasury and they use the money to buy up the conscience of every INEC returning officer that's ever served in Abia State. But this time around, God answered our prayers. We pray it continues in the other election, that the INEC person in Abia State will continue refusing the billions they are offering him to rig the elections. INEC staff, they determine this election. And the INEC chairman in Abia State, he couldn't rig the one of Abia INEC chairman in Abuja. Of course, he couldn't rig the one of Abia State because the results were called there and they were able to, transmit the results immediately before they tampered with the beavers in other states. Yes, that's what happened. And I thank God. God still rules in the affairs of men. We can't give up. We must keep praying. We must keep speaking out so that we do our own bit. We know we have done ours. And the ones we cannot do, then we leave to God. But the ones we can do, we do it. God bless you. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Please click the subscribe button. Remember, YouTube told me 85% of people who watch me have not subscribed yet. What are you waiting for? Support me, encourage me. Click the like button so that more people will be opportune to watch this, to share these ideas and share with your friends as well. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this broadcast. I'm Evangelist Jess Brimer. Thank you so much for stopping by. God bless you richly.